hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my psyche.
What's going on, guys? So before we get into today's video, just got to say that this video is brought to you guys by Fate Fantasy, which is a mobile game that is a 3D MMORPG that places you in a fantasy world where you can lead your own empire and you can expand it across the world. As you gain more experience, you can upgrade your weapons, you can upgrade your armor, but you can also form alliances with other players by creating your very own guild. This also allows you and your guildmates to move across the 10 major cities in this world together, fighting off anybody who crosses your path as a team. Even if you choose not to form your own guild, you can also choose to form a guild that already exists. Also, the game has over 20 different types of costumes, with each of them having their own pros and cons, which allows you to strategically customize your character as you see fit for battle. And one other bonus of this game is that if you're somebody who's too busy to play games all the time, just by leaving the game in idle mode, you're able to still upgrade and collect rewards as well. So if you're interested in playing this game, check out my link down in the description box as well as in the pinned comment down below. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And obviously, if you're an anime only fan, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content is going to be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. But if you're still here, I'm assuming you're okay with me talking about spoilers. So yo, I gotta keep it real with you, man. It is August 29th, and I've gone back and I've reread this latest chapter for literally the 4th time, and I've been taking notes on it. And in particular, I've been paying attention to the way that Naruto's been fighting. And I gotta say right now, like, I've done a couple videos talking about how Naruto still has an opportunity. He and Sasuke have an opportunity to defeat Isshiki, but one thing should be clear: there's a massive power gap between Isshiki Otsutsuki and this imperfect vessel that he was forced to use in Jigen, and when it comes to the power that Naruto and Sasuke are able to put out. And when you look at the deck, it seemingly appears as if the deck is stacked against Naruto. He has his son who doesn't have full mastery over his karma seal. He's a walking time bomb waiting to happen because Boruto has Momoshiki inside of him. He also has Sasuke, who's had to use that Rinnegan jutsu for space-time teleportation, which we know, according to Sasuke's own words, takes a significant amount of chakra out of Sasuke. So Sasuke's starting this battle at less than 100%, and Naruto's getting slapped around by Isshiki, being knocked through buildings left and right. And so we know that Naruto by himself can't defeat Isshiki. However, as I reread the fight, one thing popped in my mind. Naruto has a couple of jutsu that he has not used, and these are not just your regular run-of-the-mill jutsu. So I'm not talking about like your sexy jutsu or something like that, because that's not gonna happen with Isshiki. That's not gonna work. Like, it's not gonna catch him off guard like it did Kaguya, where Naruto used the sexy jutsu and then Kaguya was caught off guard, had the nosebleed. Isshiki, we've seen this man. This man's very polite. He's likely to see the sexy jutsu and say, "Excuse me, ma'am, can you put on some more clothes?" So that ain't gonna happen with something like this. So what are the 2 jutsu that Naruto has up his sleeve that he can actually use? So I'm not gonna go so run-of-the-mill like some of the theories I've seen, like, oh, Naruto's gonna use the Reaper Death Seal. I'm not going there because Naruto, as far as we know, doesn't know the Reaper Death Seal. So what these 2 jutsu are is Naruto still has that Sage of 6 Paths chakra inside of him. I've done videos talking about in the past. He still has access to a small portion of that power, and so we've seen him use the Lava Star Rasen Shuriken. So Naruto also has 2 more Kekkei Genkai at his disposal that can come in handy here. So the first one is going to be Boil Release. Naruto, even though he's in a chakra mode, Naruto can still stack the power of Boil Release on top of his chakra mode. So this would be an opportunity to briefly beef Naruto's power up, and we saw it in the fight with Kaguya when they were in that ice dimension and Naruto was caught. Naruto used Boil Release as an opportunity to break free of one of Kaguya's attacks, it gives you a very brief bulk up in power, but it's enough to where Naruto's able to jump up a couple of classes. So when you look at something like that, that opens up the door to potentially start closing the gap with Isshiki, but that's not the most important jutsu that Naruto has at his disposal that he can use against Isshiki. So this next one is what I feel could be a key. I don't think that Ikimoto is going to go here, and I'll talk about this on the back end, but logically this should be something that works. So the second jutsu is actually the magnet release Rasengan. And so for those you guys need a reminder of why that jutsu is so important, that's not just another variation of Rasengan. We know Naruto has like 9,000 different versions of Rasengan, but with this one, this magnet release Rasengan, it allows you to put a sealing jutsu onto the person who is hit with the Rasengan. And so once they're hit with this attack, it actually starts spreading the sealing formula all around their body, and it immobilizes them. And so when you get to a guy like Isshiki, a lot of people are forgetting two main things when it comes to Isshiki right now. Yes, he's super powerful. However, the two things a lot of people are overlooking is, number one, Isshiki's body is breaking down. So it is possible that this sealing jutsu could potentially work on him. And then the second thing you got to look at is the fact that they just need to stall Isshiki long enough that his body breaks down and he's not able to put the karma seal on Kawaki. Now we know from the first chapter of the Boruto manga that obviously this is gonna be something that fails. Kawaki's going to get the karma seal on him. However, I do think that this is the smart play to actually use here. Now, when it comes to why this probably is not gonna happen, even though it makes the most sense, you guys know I constantly point out what works well in the Boruto manga and what does not work well. And so when you look at what Ikimoto does, his fights, in particular when it comes to Naruto, they tend to follow the same damn pattern. There's not a lot of creativity when Naruto's fighting. So Naruto, he throws a punch, Naruto uses some type of a Rasengan, and then Naruto uses a few shadow clones, and the shadow clones get defeated, and then it's rinse and repeat. And part of the reason for this is Ikimoto, by his own words, constantly says like, yeah, I don't know if other mangaka do this, but I like to pull out the Dragon Ball manga. I like to look at how the Dragon Ball fights are drawn, and I use that as a way to come up with my fight scenes, and you can definitely tell it. However, I mean, not to bash Ikimoto, but he doesn't have the same brilliance when it comes to capturing motion and speed in the way that Akira Toriyama did, in particular when it comes to utilizing the ability to use flight to open up an entirely different dynamic into the fights. However, what I will say here is that I think that Ikimoto, if the Kashin Koji versus Isshiki battle is something to kind of hold our hats on, Ikimoto is starting to find that perfect balance of implementing the stuff that worked for Dragon Ball as well as the stuff that worked with Naruto. And so I think that this could be an opportunity. If Ikimoto goes through the Naruto manga volumes, which he said when he needs to get a reference for what's being used in the character's jutsu arsenal, he has to go through the manga to find out what jutsu they have. So if Ikimoto will go back to volume 71, you got an opportunity where you'll actually see their Sage Art Rasengan that allows him to use the sealing jutsu. So I think that a couple of jutsu that Naruto used in the Kage Otsutsuki Strikes Back arc, I think that those could be something that comes in handy. However, I want to know from you guys, how do you guys feel about this? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.